Hi there, everyone. I'm meteorologist Daniel Phillips, and I've got an update for you. We've got the 10 o'clock advisory coming in for the National Hurricane Center now on both. Still Tropical Storm Marco, although looking remarkably weaker compared to where it was 24 hours ago, and we'll get into that in a moment. Then also Laura sitting out just south of about Cuba, which continues to bring a little bit of convection up around the center despite being kind of surrounded by land here. It's being able to hold on, and I think that this is going to be the storm that we really need to watch. Marco now really not looking great. You can see how all of that activity has been sheared off. You've got strong winds that are shearing it for the southwest, and it's blowing all of the activity out over towards the east. So I think we're still breezy as we go through the night tonight. We may still see some tropical showers from it, but I don't think that we're going to see ultimately massive impacts as a result of Marco. Laura is going to be a different case, though. That is still expected to get out over some very warm water here, quickly intensify as it works its way towards the southwestern Louisiana coastline or out over towards eastern Texas. So this is what it looks like right now. Had a lot of convection down there earlier on. It looks like now it's trying to bubble up around the center again. It's still kind of battling back the influence that it's going to get from Cuba here. So don't expect it to intensify a whole lot over the next maybe 12-ish hours. Not until it gets down over the Gulf of Mexico, but don't get caught off guard by that. If you keep checking in and you notice that it's still Tropical Storm Laura, that more or less is expected. Intensification really not going to ramp up until it gets down over these very warm waters. Then there's Marco. Now Marco still expected to be a tropical storm at landfall. In fact, probably going to be making landfall out over in southeast Louisiana. You can see here, this is where the center is located. This is where all the circulation is. All the activity, though, has been blown off by that shear out over towards Panama City area, even out over towards Apalachicola. So the impacts from this are being felt well away from the center. We don't really have a whole lot that's going to be going on, and we're going to stay pretty quiet as we go through the rest of the day today. So here's a quick look at what Marco's going to be doing. This is the 10 o'clock advisory coming in for the National Hurricane Center, still with winds at about 50 miles an hour, and we'll be down to about 40-mile-an-hour winds by the time it makes landfall a little bit later on tonight. Now, all tropical storm warnings west of about Morgan City have been taken down for now. I would imagine that they get reissued either sometime tomorrow or maybe early Wednesday morning. I think tomorrow evening a little more likely, and then quickly becomes a post-remnant low, what have you. Does bring some showers across the area as we go overnight tonight and into tomorrow as well. For today, though, I think the majority of the day is going to be quiet, and still you notice it's going to be breezy. You'll still see winds probably about 15-20 miles an hour, gusting up to about 30-35 at times. Laura's a different case now. Laura is expected to be a strong Category 2 storm at landfall. Looked like a couple models were trying to drift this westwards a little bit, but they're still split between a westward run and an eastward run. So everything within this cone is certainly still in play. Acadiana certainly still in there, and even if it comes up through southwest Louisiana, you are still going to feel a lot of the impacts. Now, if it drifts westwards a little bit, it will pull those impacts a little bit further towards the west. But where we sit right now, central Acadiana needs to be prepared for a strong landfalling hurricane overnight Wednesday into early Thursday morning. In fact, by about 7 o'clock on Wednesday, you've got a strong Category 2 hurricane with 105-mile-an-hour winds sitting just offshore there. That will then work its way northwards as well. So a rough night coming up for Wednesday. Those who are making preparations, those preparations need to be completed by Tuesday night, Wednesday early morning at the latest. That's going to be decision-making time. Those who may not feel comfortable staying, or if you are in an evacuation zone, I would ask that you do heed those evacuation zones and take those seriously. And your decision time for that is going to be Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning at the latest. The closer you are to the coast, the earlier you're going to want to get out of town. Again, if you do fall within one of those evacuation zones. Let's run through the short-range models here really quick. The good news is that everything does move quickly, so it gets up and out of the area. This is our short-range model. This kind of paints a picture of what we can expect for Marco. Again, Marco not going to do a whole lot today. You may get a couple rain bands that kind of sweep through. Models paint that picture nicely. There could be some hefty downpours in there as well, some gusty winds with some of those bands. I think you may see it pick up a little bit as you get a little bit later on tonight. Heavier showers certainly going to be sitting out over towards the east. That will then wrap around the area as well, but breaking up as it does so. So again, I think you get a few kind of weather bands here for Marco, but by Tuesday night, we need to really be preparing for Laura. Laura going to be the bigger storm. Next intermediate update comes in at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. That's when they're going to adjust wind speed, intensification, things like that. The next full track update is going to be coming out at about 4 o'clock. So we'll start putting stuff together online now for the 10 o'clock advisory. That will go up here probably within the next hour or so over at KATC.com. Rob, of course, going to be in with your 5, 6, and 10 o'clock broadcast tonight. We'll be bringing you updates as necessary, as we've been mentioning for the intermediate and the full track updates. We'll be breaking in to coverage for quick updates on what we're looking at and what impacts, if any, have changed. For now, live in the Weather Lab, I'm meteorologist Daniel Phillips.